appreciate that. Let me share this. Make sure, just let me know you got this here. See my screen. I'm going to get into this. I only got about 45 minutes. I want to kind of give you all the nuts and bolts to what we did in JUCO to run a successful offense in regards to up tempo. You guys seeing this? You got this?
Yep, we got you.
Move this icon out of the way here. All right. I'm going to move here pretty quick. All right. Talk about philosophy. Everyone's saying tempo. It's basketball on grass. Here's my philosophy on it. As physical as you want to be in regards to teaching your offensive linemen, the tenacity of your skilled players, it's a mindset. So the foundation that I always built upon was making sure it's built on toughness. It's not finesse. It's not gadgets. There's no tricks involved. All right. The key component to this whole thing, when I first started this thing in JUCO, was I wanted to be able to allow our offensive line to work on tendency, fundamentals, techniques, and communication. So what does that mean? It means that we wanted to limit the number of offensive schemes that our offensive line had to basically block. All right. So I'll go into in depth of kind of how we did that. I was a big, heavy RPO team. All right. We were 90% RPO team because I never wanted to get plussed in the box. Let me backtrack a couple of steps here and tell you this. When I first started this thing, I've been an OC for 13 years. All right. I always believed in the downhill run game, the power row, the counter. All right. Inside, outside zone. And as I kind of developed into this thing, and becoming into more spread concepts, especially when I coached the 1AA level, I wanted to take those fundamental things and still keep them without getting plussed in the box. So that's kind of how this thing kind of developed into this offense. All right. Like I told you, we want to have the ability to run the regame out of our power plays, which is our downhill scheme. All right. Make the defense defend multiple plays during the same play. Coach just spoke about it, running the triple option. Basically from a 2x2, a 10 personnel set. All right. We want to be multiple in our pre-snap alignment. You'll kind of see, and I'll go fast here with this. And let me say this, guys, too. I'll send you everything so you don't have to sit there and write 50 miles an hour and take cognitive notes. I'll send you the whole PowerPoint. Here's the deal. If you get anything out of this, understand this philosophy right here. Whatever you run as an offense at a high proficiency level, you have to be able to disguise your best schemes from a pre-snap alignment. All right, let me go in depth with that a little bit. There's two types of offenses people run in this country. One, you huddle up, okay? And two, there's a no huddle. So what's the differentiation about those two things? Well, if you're a huddle team, you have to carry more volume because the whole gamut is eliminating tendencies and disguising your best plays. So like I said, if you're a huddle team, you are going to carry more volume. If you're an up-tempo team, you got to understand that the tempo you run is going to, and the pre-snap alignment of your offense is going to have the ability to disguise those things so you don't have to carry as much volume in your offensive system. All right, play fast, well-conditioned athletes of entire talent. All right, here's a big coaching point. You guys are all in winter conditioning right now or doing something in spring. Here's the biggest thing I always talked about. We had a big sign on our wall in our weight room, make conditioning a factor in a football game. All right, there's a study done that if you get to 80 snaps in a football game, you can win over 75% of your games. All right, we put all the thought process on our quarterback. He's the most cognitive one, and he touches the ball the most. Okay. Have answers on game. They'll touch upon that. And I'm going to go quick here. Do not let the defense obviously play downhill. All right, how we operate. Everything was taught conceptually, guys. There was no numbering system. We did not have a passing tree. And the reason why we did that, our whole install was predicated on teaching things conceptually. The reason why we did that, and you'll see when I get into it, is you are able now, if you teach things conceptually, to combine concepts in your play calls. Okay? All right, we're going to be multiple, and we can be in our pre-snap alignment. All right, here's another little tidbit. All right, here's what I'm going to tell you. if you teach things conceptually, your pre-snap alignment could be as multiple and exotic as you want. And I'm talking about yo-yo motions, stretch motions, orbit motions, because once the pieces know where they fit from a conceptual standpoint, once that ball is snapped, people know what their job and their assignments are. All right. A lot of word association guys things that you are already doing. Here's another thing. Tempo calls. I can't stand when, and it's a pet peeve of mine, but people say, well, we got 4 different tempos. Well, I don't know the fuck how you go 4 different tempos. Indy, NASCAR, this and that. I had one tempo because here's the deal. As a play caller, you can control how fast you want to get that play in or how slow you want to get that play in. And if you want to go a little bit faster than normal, all right, you get into what we call sonic or one-word calls, which gave you the direction to play and the pre-snap alignment formationally. Okay. Coach touched upon it last two. We talked about a snap variance cadence. You can have the ability to change your indicator. If people are trying to check the checker, you can change your indicator. One might be a hand, it could be a leg, it could be a fake clap, whatever the case may be. So you have the ability to implement the snap variance and have the ability to change the indicator if you think the defense is getting off the ball on your indicator. All right, joker cadence I'll go into it real quick, is when people started to check the checker, our quarterback would have his feet to the sideline, center would be looking between his legs. Once he sees squared feet, the quarterback would just make a go call, and we just run a tight zone when people are trying to check the checker on us. All right. Tried to keep it as simple as possible. Again, limit the schemes up front with multiple variations. Okay. Freeze cadence, home run. I'm just going to go here. All right. I know I'm going fast. All right. Here's the thing, too. If you're going to go tempo, people, you can't just say you're going to go tempo. There's fundamentals that go into playing fast that allows you to play as fast as you can possibly play. So these are the 5 rules of kind of tempo that me and my staff had came up with. Okay. 10 seconds to get yourself aligned. All right. The tempo, here's what I'm going to tell you too. You can only play as fast as you can if you're a tempo offense, as fast as you can get lined up on the perimeter, because your offensive linemen, unless you have an explosive, are only going 5 to 10 yards. So as quick as you can get lined up on the perimeter is as fast as you have the ability to go. All right. So we gave a 10-second rule. So our wide receivers, all right, would try to get it lined up, get the signal, and get lined up within 10 seconds. All right. Here's another thing. After the play, and I preach upon, I'm sure you coaches preach upon it as well too, is it's not a time to high five. It's not a time to showboat. You get the ball and you want to find the umpire. Why do you want to find the umpire? Because he's the one that's spotting the ball. You don't want to let the ball flip down or flip it on the floor. All right. Find the umpire and try to hand the ball. And I'm going to go into a drill that we did to kind of help us with that tempo to even get us lined up faster. All right. We told our wide receivers to quote unquote run from the signal. So as soon as that play's dead, all right, we're picking up the eyes of the indicator for the live coach, and we're running from the signal. We're not walking. We're running to get lined up as fast as we can. All right. Obviously, guys that run tempo, you kind of have to limit your verbiage and signals and kind of incorporate some things from a motion standpoint. All right, to allow you to play fast. All right, so that's what I'm saying with number 5. You want to put your motions and shifts incorporated into your conceptual components, and I'll show you at the end here our Roadrunner drill. All right, this is schematic game plan. Like I said, you're going to get this, but this is stuff that when we're game planning, we tried to incorporate. All right, make the defense defend the length and width, make them defend formationally, and run past sideline to sideline. Our whole thing is you can't block 11 unless you're getting a +1 run from the quarterback, which we always wanted to schematically try to get our guys one-on-one with vertical alleys to run in from a game plan standpoint. All right. When I first started this thing, all right, there wasn't a lot of what we call min front now with those 4 eyes or the noses, odd front. All right. It was a lot of under or over G stuff. So what we did was it started out with, we were a gap team. We even gapped our tight zone. Okay. But what happened because of the evolution over the past 7-8 years, people started to play a lot of that min front. You can't get to the double team to the second level. But my point being is this: when we first started this thing out, we wanted our offensive line from a game plan standpoint. what we call OTA and NOTA. And you'll see what I'm saying in the next clip. OTA stands for on the angle, and NOTA stands for not on the angle. You'll kind of see that in a second in my next clip here. Create an answer sheet. There's a thing at the end here I'll show you as well. It's a thing before we went on vacation in July that basically lists every single way a defense is kind of going to attack you and an answer to do that. And you're doing it in a controlled environment with your staff. And I'll touch more upon that in the end. I'm not going to kill you with this advantage of the regame. I'll send you this. Here's OTA, NOTA. So here's kind of the logistics of it. When we were blocking our double teams, depending if we were facing an over front or an under front, we always wanted to have our double teams working on the same direction, sort of like how a wave breaks. You can see here, we never, when we were kind of game planning, and it's all predicated on the second level linebackers, pre-snap alignment, we never wanted to, if we could help it, to have this double team work back. We always wanted to have this double team work kind of in unison, okay? Here we go. Here's the gem of this whole offense, all right? So everything we took, all right, our whole offensive run package fit into these three schemes, all right? Rio, Leo, Demon, or Leave Two. Now, with the evolution of that mid-front, all right, that three hands look, we obviously had to do some things with those four eyes, but I'll get into that in a second. Here's the basic logistics of it. Rio, Leo, we're leaving the right end alone, or we're leaving the left end alone. It's our zone read deal, okay? It could be any way formationally, but our offensive line knew if they got a Rio or Leo call, right end or left end alone off of our zone read package. Our demon scheme was we were reading a second level linebacker, okay? So it could be a power O deal where we're reading it out. All right, because we're a gap scheme and ran some outside zone, you have to have an ability to have an answer for that race linebacker to the front side of the play. So because we gapped everything to start, our answer to that was outside zone with a demon read on that front level linebacker. If he fit outside that cylinder off the two-step shuffle, our quarterback would take it, knife it back in the B gap. So that's kind of anytime, like I said, it's a linebacker read, that would be our demon scheme. Our Leave Two deal was our pulls and our traps. So it was our counter play. It was our power O play, our trap play, that would fit into our Leave Two deal. As I said, we got into that true min front. Then we got into zip, which was true full-blown zone. And then our fold deal, where we were taking our guards and blocking them out against those four eyes, wrapping our tackles into those 30 linebackers and having our center one-on-one. And just having the back read off of that, we'd RPO any type of six-man insert from the back end off of that, okay? As a play call, right, so you're sitting in the box, you always got to have an oh shit call for your O-line. You're getting a bear front, you're getting a cub, a double eagle. So anytime we're running any of those things and we got any of those looks or we got a late stem, the quarterback or the center could make a Dallas-Denver call, which was basically a gap over covered block down. If you're uncovered, you're climbing to the second level. So that was kind of the shit hits the fan deal to get us out of a late stem, or we're getting some type of late bear front or cub look from a defense, okay? Here's, like I spoke about our offensive line beliefs. Anytime we wanted to put a new play in, we wanted to make sure that if we put something new in, it made sure it looked the same for the guys up front, all right? The whole objective to this thing is to make that box clear for our quarterback, okay? And in addition, to limit the add-on or stem from the defense from back-end people, okay? So that's kind of what we believed in. All right, here's our backfield alignment. Again, you'll hear me preach upon this a million times. You've heard me speak before at Glazier or something. There's nothing we couldn't run in any of our run concepts from any of these positions. Like I said, because we taught things conceptually, this is a lot of the variables that come into play just from a pre-snap alignment, because you're going to hear defensive guys talk about it, all right? Where's the location of the back, all right? Is he in a home spot? Is he in a 3 spot? Is he in a 2 spot? Well, it don't matter, because if you have a lot of variation from your, and as multiple as you can from a pre-snap alignment look, it eliminates your tendencies and it creates havoc for the defensive play caller to find out what you're doing, because from the tendency standpoint, we declare a lot of things from a deck of cards. So this was our Queen's look. All right, but I'm going to go pretty quick here. We're a big 10 personnel team. I believed in 10 personnel, and this is how easy it is for us. And I'm going to talk about just the fundamentals of playing fast. Our X and Z never moved. It was a left receiver and our right receiver. All right, X and Z never moved. In order to play fast, all right, the only guys that move were our slots, and this is real complicated shit. Our left slot was L, and our right slot was R. If we wanted to go to our Tiger in here, our L would just move over, and it would create a 3-by-1 deal. All right. So again, our X and Z never moved. Our L and R were the movers. All right, depending on if we're right triple width formation or a left triple width formation. Take it a few steps back. I went out and visited Baylor. I spent a week with Art Briles out there, and I came back, and this is what kind of also made this thing take off. We started to get into these extended look formations. All right, and I'm talking about these extended looks. I'm talking about this extended looks would be 3 yards from the sideline. And what that did for us, all right, what made it beneficial was people were trying to double play that overhang player. Well, once you get into those stack formations, it eliminates the disguise of what those nickel Sams or Sam linebackers are going to do, because they have to show their hand. Are they going to play coverage, or are they going to play box, predicated on the width of their pre-snap alignment? So we kind of took that and kind of ran with it. So we could be in stack 2. We can be in just Tiger stack. We can just be in stack extended. Again, we had the ability, because I taught things conceptually, the pieces kind of knew where they fit once the ball was snapped. So that's kind of variations that we did here from a pre-snap alignment. All right, and these goes into our other formations. Our empty stuff, I'm a big empty guy. I love empty. Coach touched upon it before, especially if you have the ability to take your adjuster against high pressure teams and reload the back. Okay, so and we made this guy an A because it might be your 5th best wide receiver, it might be your number 2 tailback, it might be your number 1 tailback, wherever's your best hands. But he always knew if you eliminate the A, it's just our Tiger for our wide receivers. The A, he always knew we lined up weak unless we gave the adjuster a specific tag to go 4 strong, so on and so forth. So that's kind of the variations. All right, here's how we kind of declared with Rio Leo. So just let me tell you what the quarterback kind of does. Our offensive line never looked over for the signal. All right, so it was our skill players, our quarterback. Quarterback would see the signal. He would come up. He would just make the Rio Leo a hot call, a demon hot call. It would always be a double digit. So you can kind of see right here, all right, we would give so we're running Leo here. He would come up, Leo, 57-19 hot. The first numbers or the second numbers, depending on how we want to do it, we did it week to week. So let's say the first 2 numbers were hot. That just re-ID to the old line. We ain't blocking 57. We're reading him. All right, so we would work a double here. We'd work the double back to 12, and we base this if we were running our tight zone, read zone to the left. Now, you guys are probably saying, well, shit, coach, what would happen in your pass protection if you're always double digiting? We would give the same double digit call in our run or pass, because the first digit in any of our protections, we'd always set the mic point for our center. So if we run our scat, our dual, our 2 jet protection, we would maybe say 1957 hot, just to know where the center and guard are working to in our protection deal, to tell the back he's got to scan away. All right. If we were running a demon call, I told you about that outside zone because we gapped everything with that race linebacker fitting over the top. That would be 1957 hot. So that would be a demon read. All right. So that's you kind of see how things come into play here in regards to our IDing at the line of scrimmage. And it was just like, and it happened like this: get the signal, be 57-19 Rio or 57-19 Leo. Ready, and then we'd be off and running. All right, we try to get the thing snapped in 13 seconds if we can, if we're going one word of Sonic. but you can get it snapped in 20. All right. There's no doubt about it. All right. So I'm going to go quick here again. These are our A-level reads. These are our B-level reads, our demon deals. And these are our C-level reads when people are rocking and rolling or spinning their safeties to run that glance stuff. All right. This was our run menu. As you can see, and I talked about, every single one of those plays, besides these three at the bottom, fit to those three categories: Rio, Leo, Demon, or Leave 2. All right. Everything started with our inside zone. This is a unique thing we did for our quarterback. All right. We're talking about a zone read. I was a big inside zone read team and then big GT, which we call Trey Reed. So a lot of things happen with the quarterback, right? All these defensive coordinators came up with all these different ways to attack, mesh charge, chair, then they're going to trap the ball. So we wanted to come up with a way, an easy way kind of, and we marked this out on our practice field for our quarterback to understand when to give it and when to pull it. So when we got a box end or people were slow playing what we call surf technique or chair technique, we would say we want to give the ball when he's in 1 or 2. When he's in 4 or 3, 4 would be like a mesh charge, or 3 would be like a bend and pop. We'd also want to give the football, pull a football, excuse me. Let me say this too. What we did that was kind of unique as well. Ultimately, what you guys want to do, and I don't know if you can see me, but ultimately what you guys want to do is we always wanted to get that defensive end that had turned shoulders parallel to the line of scrimmage, because we thought once we got him in that situation, it made the read clearer for the quarterback. So people start to do this thing called the mesh charge, which I'm sure you guys are getting it now in high school. So what we counteracted to do with that, and I took this from old-fashioned veer, is you want to sink the mesh into the line of scrimmage for 2 steps. And what that does is it makes that defensive end declare what he wants to do by sinking 2 steps. And all it was a shuffle into the line for 2 steps from the quarterback to get that defensive end's shoulders turned. All right. Here's our inside zone. All right. Here's versus an over front. Here's versus an R. All right. It hit front side A, backside B to backside C. We didn't overcoach it. All right. I was a big pistol guy because I believe, all right, like Coach said, teams started to set their 3 technique, 2 are away from the back, bring their pressures depending if, because you're having the back offset now, bring your pressures away or to the mesh point. All right. So I said, shit, we're going to put the back in pistol, all right, and have the capability to jump the back if we wanted to, move him from either side. But I was a big pistol component because here's why also. I told you I was a big inside zone and a GT guy, because the first 4 steps of inside zone or counter look identical. So what does that do for the second level linebackers? It makes them get downhill, which sets up the double teams a lot quicker, because for the first 4 steps, it looks exactly the same, and it's going to make them trigger, which is going to force them into the fold. All right. Here's another thing. Because we wanted to give the capability to play fast, and inside zone was such a strong focal point for us, all right, we would always have to give signals of where we wanted the home spot of the back to be. Well, we changed that because it was too much verbiage and we wanted to play as fast as we possibly can. So what we did was we incorporated 3 different play names. It's all inside zone, but the differentiation was it told the back where his pre-snap alignment was going to be. So Zeus automatically put him in pistol. Arizona, we did that when people were trying to boss those linebackers off at 3-by-1 and try to get that inside zone out the back door. We put him in Arizona. Or if we wanted to slow down the read key for the defensive end and the quarterback, all right, we put him in for what we call Virginia, which is inside zone, which was basically a 2-step shuffle to the mesh. So those are the 3 ways we gave ourselves the ability to play faster and eliminate the signal to the running back by just naming 3 different ways. It was still blocked Rio Leo for us up front. All right. Trey Reed, our guard tackles, we always skip pulled. Okay. Always read the backside. I kind of taught it like a train. And the reason why I taught it like a train is because those defensive ends, when they start to wrong on that football, that tackle has to kind of see that. So I said, the guard's setting it, the tackle's chasing the heels of guard, and the running back is chasing the heels of the tackle, because if you get that wrong arm and that guard has to log it, that's going to be an outside fit for the tackle. Well, that tailback's got to be an outside fitter as well. So those are the kind of the ways we did it. We fucked around a little bit when we started to see that odd front. There's a lot of different ways we did this. All right. Versus an odd front, sometimes we pass set the tackle and put him out on the will, which would jet the end upfield, and it would be an easy kick. So we dicked around a little bit versus an odd front, depending if it was a 4-eye or a 5. All right. But that's kind of what we did there. All right. I'm going to move here. Our power, here we go now. Let me go to this. Our Toro arrow check. How much time do I got, Coach?
You're coming up about 10 minutes here.
I'll get to some cut-ups. Our Toro arrow check, because we were such a big inside zone team and teams wanted to stem to us and away from us, so it was such a great play. Again, we get into 2x2, disguising our best play, what we wanted to do. We tag a little orbit motion with it. But the quarterback would set the orbit motion. He would either bring the L or the R, predicated on where the low technique was. All right, because we always thought this double team was easier to the low technique than it would be to the 3. So if we got the low technique here, he'd signal the R to come around, and it was kind of that pull and punch RPO, that old triple option deal off the zone read. If the low technique was sit here, we'd bring the L in the orbit motion. So the defense couldn't be right if we were facing over and under team, or they were trying to stem us late. All right. I'm going to go here because I want to get into this stuff. And I'll send you all this. All right. It has all the plays here conceptually. All right. Here's a nice little hybrid I wanted to give to you guys before I get to the cut-ups and stuff. So hybrids combine. I talked about combining concepts, and I'm going so fast here, but so these concepts are the 3 concepts that below. The now 6 are our Blue Jay. 6 was our vertical package. Now was just a throw out quick screen. Blue Jay was our quarterback trap. Stay with me on this now. All right, we line up our tight end into the boundary. Our first thing, we get a pre-snap, we'd rocket the back out. If the free safety don't get off the hash, he stays on the hash +1. We're just throwing the now to the tailback. He's blocking the corner, and we're trying to win it down. All right, we rocket the back out. The free safety goes off the hash. Now it turns to a post-snap deal. All right, now the ball snap. The quarterback's eyes are on the backer. All right. If the will backer doesn't attach, all right, because remember the free safety's off the hash with the pre-snap rocket, it turns into just a pop pass. If the backer catches on and runs with him because the free safety's off the hash and they're playing some type of man match, then it just turns into quarterback trap. All right, so that's kind of, we did a lot of those hybrids. All right. Here's our RPO deal. All right, 3 type of RPO is how we categorize them. One was our gifts, which was open access throws. All right, corner 7 yards off, we're going to take the gift no matter what play is on, we're taking it. Then you have your trigger movement, which is your conflict players, and then our pull and punch triple. So here's kind of an example of all of those. So here's an advantage throw, right? You're in 3-by-1. Out there playing some type of poach or kick coverage over here. Corner 7 yard, it could be a hitch, a slant, an okie, whatever you want. We're taking a gift on the backside. Okay. Movement RPOs, where we're on our tight zone, we're facing a quarters team. All right. This guy wants to fit in the run. We're going to throw our glance package, our quick slant, whatever you keep. It don't matter. That's kind of your movement RPO. And then finally, your pull and punch, all right, which is your reading the end. All right, the end bend, you're pulling and you're reading off a secondary player, secondary contained player, which we called our trigger. All right. I'm moving here. All right. Here's kind of how we did. I want to give you a couple of drills, how we did our double ball drill. This is off of our pull and punch RPO. So you have 2 balls here. All right, you have a manager snapping the quarterback and insert run here, whatever mesh you want it to run. It could be zone. It could be your GT, whatever the case may be. All right. Now your second coach, all right, has a ball, but once that ball snapped, and I'm talking about the first ball here, that coach is holding up hands. All right. He's all 4, 3, and that quarterback is looking at that coach and he's yelling out the numbers that he has on his hands. Because what do most quarterbacks want to do at that mesh point? They want to look back at the mesh and make sure that the running back is solidifying the football. It's the worst thing to do because you take your eyes off your read key. All right. So he's holding up numbers. All right. So he's meshing. He's yelling out the numbers that the coach is holding up. Once that mesh is over, he's coming down and flipping him a second ball. And we're running whatever pull and punch RPO off the perimeter that we're doing here. Hopefully that makes sense. And we'll split the field in two. This is just, we'll put one ball on the right hash, one ball on the left hash. All right, here's our Roadrunner drill. You heard me speak about this in the beginning because you got to have fundamentals in order to play fast. So we'd send our first team out on the right hash, whatever alignment is. Break from the break. We always huddle on the sideline, broke with the play. So they'd snap the first ball, run the play. As soon as that play's over, there was 4 balls spotted 10 yards apart. They'd be getting the huddle. So you're now getting the call ID from the sideline. Your guys are running through the signal, all right? And we're snapping the ball. The ball isn't snapped. You can do this with a ball, without a ball. But they're running, all right, through the next signal call. Now your second team is lined up. So I don't know if you have threes or what. We had threes in the third, but the idea is this. You're getting all your signals done, all your changes, your formation changes, all right? But you're going through all your calls, and fundamentally, you're getting your players lined up to play fast so they understand to pick up the signal, run through, and get the thing snapped within 13 seconds, all right? I don't have time to get into game. I'll shoot you a game plan board. This is kind of how we went to game planning. I'll talk real quick about this. I know I got 5 minutes. We'll have 5 minutes of cutups, but whatever. So here's kind of how we did it. We took every scenario here. All right. I did a 4-game breakdown. All right. So let's just say you work in the 3rd and 4 to 6 scenario. All right. These are all, game 1, you had 4 snaps in the 4 to 6. Game 2, you had 7. Game 3, you had 5. Game 4, you had 6. That's 22 plays. You take 22, you divide it by 4. That's 5.5 plays you need per that scenario. Here's what the deal is. As an early coordinator, I used to go with my gun fully loaded. You don't need 17 plays in 3rd and 4 to 6. The formula just basically told you you need to carry 5.5 plays for that scenario. So we would take the best 6 plays. I always round it up. You would take the best 6 plays in that 3rd and 4 to 6, and that's how you would carry that in that scenario for the game. You wouldn't carry 9, you wouldn't carry 4, you'd carry 6. So when you on Wednesdays are working your 3rd and 4 to 6 scenario, you're only repping those 6 plays for that scenario. So basically what it does, it stops you from having too much of shit that you can't possibly rep throughout the week. All right. This is my call sheet. I want to move so I can get to some cut-ups. This is the answer sheet that I spoke about earlier. All right. Basically, this is everything that defense could do to try to attack you. So maybe you work that week versus an over G or a min front, and they show you some type of exotic thing that you haven't seen on film. Well, instead of losing that series, you basically in the summertime have already created an answer sheet for those scenarios that the defense could possibly give you from a coverage standpoint and a defensive stem standpoint in regards to attacking it. So you don't have to lose any type of time during a series. In addition to that, it also allows you, once you start game planning, because you have every answer here for what a defense does, to have a starting point to start your game plan deal. All right. This is my email. This is my Twitter. All right. Let me get to some cut. I'll send you guys this. Just you can jot that down real quick to get this PowerPoint, or hit me up on Twitter. I'll give you 5 minutes of kind of cut-ups, and you can kind of see what I'm doing here. Let me share. Let me just get this. Are you guys seeing the screen?
Not right now, no.
Why is the share right here? Oh, here it is. Okay.
There we go. Got it now.
You see it now?
Yes, sir.
All right. So this is our A. I'm gonna go. This is our inside zone. So this is Zeus, Virginia. All right. This is our inside zone deal. All right. Again, we're making a Rio deal here. You'll see it from the end zone. Shit. I forgot I'm on X. I'm not on X, so I'm on huddle here. All right. So we're making a Rio deal here. We're reading this end. All right. We're creating double teams all the way back. I remember this hits front side A to backside B to backside C. Okay. And all the quarterback would yell out the number. It's a Rio deal. It's off a zone reader. We're off and going. All right. So this is all our tight zone stuff. All right. You can kind of see our stack. This is our stack tight. We're not stack extended here. All right. But still, it's off our Rio game. It's a 3x3 stack team. All right. So we're reading the Sam linebacker outside here. All right. We should have no issues inside. This would be a Leo, depending whatever number the defensive end is. The Sam linebacker. So that would be a Leo 8 call. All right. Because he'd be outside here. We have a hat for a hat inside. All right. No issues. All right. Here we go. Here's our doubles extend. This is our devil RPO for pull and punch. All right. So this is Leo off our inside zone. All right. So this is off of our pull and punch RPO. Again, this is off our stack component. I didn't get into my RPOs because it's too time consuming, but you guys can kind of see. Again, here it is. This is our Virginia. This is our Virginia call here. All right, you see it comes out the back door in the C gap. All right, so again, this would be a Leo call. I'm trying to see what the defensive ends number. This would be a Leo call 44. All right. This is another just RPO here. We're just rocking in the back, post snap from the backfield. Same deal. Again, running our same plays that we can execute a high proficiency level. Nothing changed with the guy up front. We're just sprinkling in now instead of being in a 2x2 set. All right. Instead of being in a 2x2 set. All right. We're just going to rock at the back post snap here to get into our razor RPO if this end bends versus our pull and punch. So again, run our best plays, but disguise it from our pre-snap alignment. All right, this is our tray read now. This is our counter play. All right. Again, we built in conceptually our motions and jets. All right. From a concept standpoint, but it gives you the ability to play fast. We're still reading. There's still a read component involved into it. All right. So this is simplistic. So this would be our leave two deal. All right. So he would just come up to the line of scrimmage. He would just say, crush LA or crush Salt. All right. And the RPO tag would already be built into it. What else we got here? All right, this is stack. This is another RPO. Now we're running Sting with the devil call on the backside. All right, it's still GT. All right, we're just depending on the check because we're checking this. We're checking this to the high or the low technique. So let me just walk you through this real quick so you understand this. All right. So we wanted to run our GT deal. All right. We wanted to run our GT deal to what we call the high technique. So we put a double. So we had a Sting call here for an RPO or a devil here predicated on where they were setting their 3 technique to. All right. Because we wanted to run counter to the 3 technique side. So you kind of see we're checking it there to run it to the high technique. All right. Let's see what we got here. This is GT again. Just a jet motion, all right, off a pull and punch, okay? Same deal. This is kind of a good one here. So now let me just walk you. This will be the last one I'll show you, and then I'll go. All right. So this was going to be our GT deal here. All right. So we're running guard, tackle, pull. All right? We're reading this end, okay? If this end bend, the quarterback would pull the ball. We drop step, all right, and then we run speed option out the back. All right, so it would start out with GT. If we got a box end, we're heading off counter. If this guy would mesh charge or be a bending end, we would pull it, and then the quarterback and tailback would be running speed option off the secondary contained player. So it's kind of conceptually adding 2 things in one. Like I told you, having the ability to teach things conceptually, you can combine concepts in your offense. That's kind of it. That's kind of fucking fast for me with this thing. There's a lot of details, but hopefully you guys got something out of that. Shoot me an email and I'll send you the whole PowerPoint. I'll have everything in it. That's all you kind of need. And if you hit me up on Twitter or Yahoo, I'll answer any question you guys might have. Okay.